One such mailman, Jeff Kramer, a dedicated USPS mail carrier in Boulder, Colorado, was one of those who adored dogs. For him, his daily route was more than just delivering mail. It was an opportunity to connect with the pets in the neighborhood, many of which he had grown quite fond of over the years. Jeff had always loved animals, and growing up surrounded by dogs, he developed a soft spot for them early on. His own dog, Odie, had been with him for many years, growing old by his side. As Odie aged, Jeff did everything he could to make his loyal companion comfortable, ensuring that Odie's golden years were filled with love and care. But even as Jeff tended to Odie, his work as a mailman allowed him to interact with plenty of other dogs along his route, providing a small but comforting distraction from the reality of his own aging pet. Jeff was one of those people who couldn't resist petting every dog he encountered. While he understood that not all dogs were fond of strangers, he always approached them with caution, letting them get used to his presence before attempting any interaction. He respected their space, knowing that he was the intruder in their territory. Over time, many of the dogs along his route came to trust and even look forward to his visits. However, there was one dog that didn't need any convincing at all, a black Labrador named Tashi. From the very first moment Jeff delivered mail to Tashi's house, the dog was smitten with him. Tashi would eagerly run up to Jeff's mail truck, tail wagging, as if the mailman's sole purpose was to visit him. It was a ritual for the two. Every time Jeff pulled up to Tashi's house, the enthusiastic dog would demand scratches and cuddles before letting Jeff continue his route. Tashi's owner, Karen Demowski, often laughed at how much her dog loved Jeff. She recounted how Tashi would wait impatiently by the window, watching for the mail truck to round the corner. The moment it appeared, Tashi would dash out the door and race down the steps to greet Jeff with pure joy. The bond between the two grew deeper with each passing day, and Jeff looked forward to seeing Tashi just as much as Tashi looked forward to his visits. Meanwhile, Jeff's own dog, Odie, was nearing the end of his life. Odie had been a rambunctious, playful dog in his younger years, always full of energy and eager for long walks and endless games of fetch. But age had taken its toll, and now Odie spent most of his days sleeping, unable to run or even climb the stairs to the backyard as he once did. It broke Jeff's heart to see his beloved dog struggling. Odie would wait at the top of the stairs, wagging his tail slowly, but unable to muster the strength to bound down and greet Jeff as he had in the past. Jeff, determined to make Odie's life easier, had built a ramp in the backyard to help him get up and down the stairs. It was a small act of love, but it allowed Odie to maintain some of his independence, even as his body grew weaker. The once vibrant dog could no longer chase after his favorite ball, but he still carried it around proudly, a reminder of his playful spirit. Despite Jeff's efforts to keep Odie comfortable, it soon became clear that his beloved companion was in pain. The vet gently informed Jeff and his family that the time had come to say goodbye to Odie. It was a devastating moment for Jeff, who had spent so many years by Odie's side. The decision to let him go was heartbreaking, but Jeff knew it was the kindest thing he could do for his loyal friend. In the weeks following Odie's passing, Jeff found comfort in his daily interactions with Tashi. The Black Lab's exuberant greetings helped fill the void left by Odie's absence. However, as time went on, Jeff began to notice that Tashi, too, was showing signs of aging. On one of his regular stops, Jeff was surprised to see Tashi lying on his bed by the front door instead of rushing out to greet him. Only when Jeff got closer did Tashi muster the energy to stand and come outside, but it was clear that the dog was slowing down. Concerned, Jeff asked Karen how old Tashi was, and her answer shocked him. Tashi was already 14 years old. Until recently, Tashi had shown no signs of slowing down, but now Jeff could see the toll that age was taking on him. The once spry and energetic dog was beginning to struggle, particularly when it came to climbing the stairs. Jeff watched in dismay as Karen and her husband had to carry Tashi up the steps after his daily jaunts in the yard. The sight of Tashi struggling brought back painful memories of Odie's final days. Jeff knew all too well how difficult it could be to care for a large dog with mobility issues. Tashi's family had young children, and while they tried to help their beloved pet up and down the stairs, it was clear that it was becoming a strain on both the dog and the family. Jeff's heart went out to them, and he felt a deep desire to do something to help. That night, as Jeff reflected on Tashi's situation, he came to a difficult decision. He knew how he could make life easier for Tashi, but it would come at an emotional cost. The next morning, on his day off, Jeff went into his garage and began disassembling the ramp he had built for Odie. It was a bittersweet moment, as taking down the ramp felt like letting go of one of the last physical reminders of his beloved dog. But Jeff knew that it was the right thing to do. Later that day, while the Demoski family was out, Jeff drove over to their house with the pieces of Odie's ramp. He spent hours reassembling it on Tashi's front steps, carefully ensuring that it was sturdy and safe for the aging dog to use. When Karen and her family returned home, they were stunned to see what Jeff had done. The ramp was a gift beyond anything they could have imagined, and it meant the world to them. Tashi, too, seemed to sense that the ramp was for him. He walked up and down it with ease, his tail wagging as he rediscovered his freedom. The ramp allowed him to move in and out of the house without needing to be carried, restoring his dignity and independence. For Karen and her family, it was a lifesaver. They no longer had to worry about injuring themselves or Tashi as they tried to navigate the stairs. As winter approached, the ramp became even more of a blessing. The snow and ice made the stairs treacherous, but with the ramp, the family could easily help Tashi up and down without fear of slipping. The simple act of kindness from Jeff had changed their lives, giving Tashi more time to enjoy the outdoors and, most importantly, more quality time with his family. Jeff's selfless gesture was a testament to the bond between humans and animals, and the way that love and kindness can transcend even the smallest of everyday interactions. He didn't see himself as a hero. He had simply done what he knew was right. But for the Demoski family and for Tashi, Jeff was much more than just their mailman. He was a true friend, someone who went above and beyond to make a difference in their lives. In the months that followed, Tashi continued to use the ramp daily, his old body finding comfort in the freedom it provided. And every time Jeff stopped by to deliver the mail, he was greeted with the same joyful wag of the tail that had made his days brighter for so many years.